Your cat is staring at the corner of the ceiling right now. Not at you. Not at a fly. Not at nothing. At something. And the frustrating part is that you have no way to know what it is. You can follow his gaze. You can walk over and look yourself. You can put your face right where his eyes are pointing and see nothing at all. That has happened to you before. Maybe more than once. And every time, you walked away with that small unsettling feeling that something was in that room that you couldn't access. You were right. Your cat's sensory world and your sensory world occupy the same physical space. The same room. The same house. The same patch of afternoon light on the kitchen floor. But they are not the same world. His world is bigger than yours. Older than yours. Built for a completely different set of threats and opportunities that your brain was never designed to process. And right now, at this exact moment, as you watch him stare at a wall or sit motionless at a window, he is receiving information about the environment you live in together that you will never be able to receive. Researchers at the University of London confirmed something in 2014 that changes the way you read that sentence. We'll get there in a moment. But what they found is the reason this is not a metaphor. This is what that information is. Stay with this until the end. Because the last thing we cover is the one that is hardest to explain, and the one that will change the way you watch him when you go home tonight. Your cat has 5 senses, just like you. But the word 5 is where the similarity ends. His version of each one is calibrated so differently from yours that calling them the same sense is like calling a searchlight and a candle the same thing because they both produce light. We are going to go through each one. And by the time we finish, what you currently understand as your cat looking at something will never be the same again. Start with light. You see color. Your cat sees something closer to what a person with red-green colorblindness sees. A world of blues, greens, and yellows, with reds and oranges appearing as muted, washed-out versions of themselves. That has led people to say that cats see a worse version of the world than we do in terms of color. That is incorrect. What cats sacrifice in color range, they gain in a completely different dimension of light, one that is invisible to you entirely. Research published in the Proceedings of the Royal Society B, led by a team from the University of London, confirmed in 2014 what earlier studies had suggested. Cats can see into the ultraviolet spectrum. Ultraviolet light, UV, is the same spectrum that causes sunburns, makes white shirts glow under black lights, and is used to detect certain fluids in forensic investigations. You cannot see it. At all. Your lens filters it out before it reaches your retina. Your cat's lens does not. This means that things in your environment that appear completely uniform to you, a patch of blank wall, a stretch of floor, a window ledge, a piece of furniture, may be lit up with patterns, markings, and signals completely invisible to you. Rodent urine trails, which are used by mice and rats to mark territory, glow under UV light. Your cat can see them. He has always been able to see them. That wall he stares at. That corner he tracks with his eyes. There may be a map on it that only he can read. Think about what that means for a moment. You cleaned that room. You painted that wall. You chose that furniture. You believe you know what is in that space because you can see everything in it. You cannot see everything in it. There is an entire layer of your home, UV visible, chemically encoded, constantly updated, that he has been reading since the first day you brought him inside. And vision is only the first layer. But before we go further, here is the thing that hearing reveals that vision cannot. Because what comes next is the part that will make you rethink every time you thought the house was quiet. The human ear hears frequencies between roughly 20 Hz and 20,000 Hz. That upper limit, 20,000 Hz, is what audiologists call the human ceiling. It is not a cat's ceiling. Cats hear frequencies up to approximately 79,000 Hz, nearly 4 times higher than your upper limit. To put that in physical terms, the ultrasonic calls that mice and rats use to communicate with each other fall between 20,000 and 90,000 Hz. Entirely above your hearing. Squarely within his. When you sit in what you experience as a quiet room, your cat may be listening to a conversation. A panicked call between 2 mice in the walls. The high-pitched navigation click of a bat outside. The distress signal of a rodent under the floorboards. Your house is not quiet. You simply lack the receiver to hear what is broadcasting. There is something specific about how cats use this hearing that goes beyond range. Cats have 32 muscles in each ear. You have 6. Those 32 muscles allow your cat to rotate each ear independently up to 180 degrees. He can point his left ear at the sound coming from behind a refrigerator while his right ear tracks something moving outside the window, simultaneously, without moving his head. This means that when he appears to be staring motionlessly at a single point, he may be receiving directional audio from two completely different locations at the same time. He is not frozen. He is triangulating. And the precision of that triangulation is documented. Research from a University of Michigan found that domestic cats can localize a sound source to within 3 degrees of arcade at a distance of 1 meter, a precision comparable to dogs and significantly finer than what humans can achieve without tools. He knows exactly where the sound is coming from, down to a fraction of a degree. Picture him sitting in the hallway late at night. Still. Not sleeping, not moving, apparently doing nothing. You walk past and think he is just being a cat. He has both ears independently rotated. He is tracking a sound behind the baseboard with one and a sound from the roof with the other. His visual system is simultaneously processing UV-lit movement on the floor that you cannot see. He is not doing nothing. He is running a full environmental audit of your home. And you just walked right through the middle of it. Now go below the frequency your ears can hear. You do not process infrasound, frequencies below 20 Hz. The range that large events produce. The rumble before an earthquake. The subharmonic vibration of a severe storm still hours away. The resonance of a large structure under stress. There is evidence, not settled science, but accumulating field observation and some controlled study, that cats detect infrasound and respond to it before the event producing it becomes apparent to humans. Reports of cats becoming agitated, hiding, or vocalizing in the hours before seismic activity go back centuries in Japan and China, where the behavior was considered reliable enough to be incorporated into early warning systems. In 2011, a team reviewing animal behavior prior to the Tohoku earthquake in Japan documented anomalous feline behavior in the days leading up to it across multiple independent reports. The mechanism is not fully established. It may involve vibrational sensitivity in the inner ear. It may involve sensitivity to shifts in atmospheric pressure. It may involve detection of electrostatic changes in the air that precede seismic events. What is clear is this: your cat is receiving environmental signals in the low frequency range that your body was not designed to detect. When he becomes suddenly restless for no reason you can identify, there may be a reason. You simply cannot hear it. And that brings us to the sense that is the most personal. The one that is directly about you. Move now to smell. The human nose contains roughly 5 million olfactory receptor cells. Your cat's nose contains approximately 200 million. That is a 40-fold difference in raw receptor count. But the difference in function is not simply 40 times better at smelling the same things you smell. The architecture of what he can detect is fundamentally different from yours. Cats have a secondary olfactory organ you do not have, the vomeronasal organ, also called Jacobson's organ, located in the roof of the mouth behind the front teeth. When your cat opens his mouth slightly, tilts his chin up, and holds that expression, an expression called the Flamen response, he is not confused. He is not yawning. He is not breathing. He is routing air directly to a second chemoreceptor system that is designed to detect specific chemical compounds that your nose cannot register at all, pheromones. Pheromones are chemical signals produced by animals, including humans, that carry information about identity, reproductive status, stress levels, and health. You produce them. Constantly. Your cat can read them. When he presses his face into your clothing that has been sitting on the floor. When he rubs his cheek against your hand and then pauses to smell his own cheek. When he sits near you after you have been somewhere stressful and his behavior changes in a way you find hard to explain. He is not guessing at your emotional state. He is reading a chemical document you are producing without knowing it. Research from Tufts University has documented that domestic cats can detect physiological changes in their owners, elevated cortisol, shifts in body temperature, chemical markers of acute stress, through olfactory cues at concentrations so low they are undetectable to humans without laboratory instrumentation. You cannot hide from him. Not chemically. The version of you he knows is not the one you present. It is the one your body is actually reporting. Think about the last time you came home after a difficult day and your cat behaved differently than usual. Sat closer. Followed you from room to room. Would not leave you alone in a way you found strange. You assumed he could tell something was off. He did not assume. He measured. The cortisol spike in your system. The shift in your skin temperature. the specific compounds your body releases under sustained psychological stress. He read all of it the moment you walked through the door, before you said a word, before you sat down, before you even decided whether you were going to tell anyone how the day went. He already knew. Now bring all of this together. Your cat is sitting near you right now. He has been in this room with you for the last hour. During that hour, his visual system has been processing the ultraviolet spectrum of your environment, tracking motions at nearly twice your temporal resolution, and detecting details in the peripheral field that your foveal dominant vision is structurally incapable of registering. His auditory system has been receiving frequencies 4 times above your ceiling, triangulating sound sources across 2 independently mobile ears, and possibly detecting low-frequency environmental signals that precede events you will not become aware of for hours. His olfactory system has been reading a chemical profile of your body, your stress state, your health markers, and your movement history through the room, a document you have been producing continuously and cannot read yourself. He has been here with you. And the version of this room he has been experiencing has been vastly, structurally different from the one you have been experiencing. You share a space. You do not share a world. There is one more thing. This is the part that takes a moment to sit with. All of that sensory data, the UV signals, the ultrasonic frequencies, the chemical profiles, the infrasonic vibrations, goes somewhere. It goes into the same brain that has been watching you, learning you, building a predictive model of your behavior. Research from the Kyoto University Primate Research Institute has documented that domestic cats track their owners' voices and associate them with location. They know where you are in the house from the sound of your voice before they can see you. They maintain an internal map of you. The data he collects from his senses does not exist in isolation. It builds a picture of you that is more complete than the picture you have of him. He knows your chemical signature. He can hear you from 4 rooms away. He tracks your movements at higher temporal resolution than your own visual system. He may detect your physiological stress before you are consciously aware of it. You have been thinking of yourself as the observer. You are not the observer. You never were. You are the observed. The difference between you and your cat is not simply that he has better senses. It is that those senses have been trained, continuously, on you, the most important object in his environment. The one that controls food, safety, warmth, and predictability. He has been studying you since the first day. You, meanwhile, have been studying him. That information gap, between what he knows about your world and what you know about his, between what he knows about you and what you know about yourself, is what you are looking at when he stares at something you cannot see. He is not confused. He is not bored. He is not looking at nothing. He is processing a world that was here before you learned to name things. And he is processing you within it. The next time he sits still and stares, at the ceiling, at the wall, at the corner of a room you have lived in for years, consider the possibility that the room you think you know is not the room he is in. His room is older and wider and louder and brighter than yours. And you are the most important thing in it. If you want to understand what he has already decided about you, how he built that map, what he concluded, and exactly when he made up his mind, that video is here. Has your cat ever reacted to something in the room that you couldn't find? Something that made you stop and look, and left you certain that he was responding to a real signal, even if you couldn't explain it? Tell me what happened.